Hi, I'm Neftali Nichols, and you're watching Transform. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we have a very special guest in the house, Pastor Terry Wells.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
So, obviously, the show is called Transformed, and that's what we're talking about, just transformation in life, in spirituality, which transcends basically to all areas of our lives.
Right.
And I gave you the title of Pastor Terry
Right.
Wells. That's who you are at this point. That's
Right.
where we are in the present day.
Right.
But transformation is showing and talking about how we've been transformed.
Right.
And tell us about Terry Wells before Pastor Terry Wells, young Terry Wells, and how he was transformed, if we can go start there.
That guy. Transform is something that I didn't even plan. Transformation is not a lot of things of what we plan to happen, but in God's plans, when He has a purpose or destiny on your life, He plans to transform your life without you even knowing it. It's just like being in the draft. I didn't go looking for him. He came and found me. I didn't even sign myself up. He signed me up. Isn't that amazing? So check this out. You don't mind me getting a little loose with you.
No.
That's what transform. Because sometimes it comes back, that guy.
Yes, that's all right. This is about who we are, and it's very Tell me.
Cool. Check it out. Right. I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm not from New Jersey. But give you a little brief history of who I am and where I came from. I was a Southern boy, back in the country. We was making jokes before, feeding my grandfather's hogs and pigs. Came up in a pretty good, decent middle class background. But my mother was abusive to me. My real father, he left. My mom remarried to another guy, construction guy. Showed me the business. Came up in the church. I have a church history. Was raised in the church Tuesday, Friday, Sundays. Really good structure. But then my mom was really abusive to me. I had dreams like any other kid. Wanting to go in the Air Force, be a police officer, law firms, those type things. I was really kind of amped up, as you call it, those hyper kids. They wanted to put me on Ritalin, think that was the reason, kind of label you as ADHD. But I was just special. God was dealing with me at an early age, and I didn't even realize it. My thought pattern was way beyond, like, I could build this, be a part of that, and help people. So it forced me in a lifestyle of selling drugs, making money to fake friends. I always wanted to have this thing of wanting to be accepted, and do anything to be accepted, like a lot of our young people today, just to fit in. So I always, wanted things, so I started selling drugs, and I had to learn the drug game. It's just not like you just a drug dealer overnight. I had to learn it. And I always had this, what you call the sonship anointing on my life, where it captivated even people in the world to adopt me as a son. So this Jamaican guy adopted me like a son. And he started fronting me drugs. And he said, your name's not going to be called like God told Jacob, your name should now be called Jacob. It's Israel. So he said, yo, Terry, your name should be called no more Terry. It's Brown Man. So my name changed to a guy called Brown Man. Brown Man was that guy who learned the game and over time. And I started making money. But then there's always consequences behind your actions. So the devil never shows you. He always shows you the good stuff. He never shows you the consequences. And that's what we never look at, the consequences behind those things. Like, we always seem like we got time, because it seems like we're going to live forever. And that is true. We shall live forever. But that's another story. But as I'm making money, going to jail, because of how my upbringing was in the church, I knew who I could call on when I get in trouble. So when I'm behind that jail cell looking at those mice and sleeping on the floor, and I'm like, Lord, I promise you, if you just bring me out, get me out, I'll never do it again. And God is a man of his word. He got me out. But what do you think what I did when I got out?
Well, my question is, I guess, probably went back to being brown man.
That's key.
Now, was that your first experience in realizing that there might have been some sort of transformation?
No, but you said a key thing. Think about something that you just said as well. Because I went back, but why did I go back to being brown man? Because I went back to that same abusive environment. Because if your environment hasn't changed, then you're still going to be that same individual. So I have to still go back and face the same abusive home that I came out of. So as I'm back home, I'm like, man, I can't deal with this anymore. So the devil will bring those same fake friends back, put the same people who seem like they love you, because that's all we're looking for, the love, the affection, those type things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm back, you know? So as time progresses, I'm out there again, go to jail again. He does the same thing, gets me out again. But this time, it's different. I go to church one Sunday. Didn't even have Jesus on my mind. You know, one of those guys sitting way in the back of the church, you know, but this something about this message that comes across is how good Jesus is and how much he loves you, and he loves you for who you are. He just wants you. And I'm like, what? But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about the next weed I'm going to smoke when I get out. I'm going to puff fast. I'm thinking about those things, or the next girl I'm going to sleep with when I get out of church.
Yeah.
But God had other plans. So for some reason, I'm hearing this voice tell me, get up and go get prayed for.
Yeah.
You ever heard that before?
Oh, absolutely.
And then in your other ear, something's telling you, if you go, those people are going to be looking at you. And this is where courage steps in. I had to go beyond what I felt or how all the things that I went through. You know, if this same Jesus can love me for who I am, in spite of what I've done, and forgive me for everything I've done, I'm going to try it out. I've heard about it, but it's nothing like knowing him for yourself. So I got the courage, and I'm going up there, and I'm still hearing these voices. They're looking at you. They're looking at you. And I'm paranoid. I'm looking out there, and it looks like those people are looking at you like, all eyes on me. Not Tupac, but all eyes on me. So I'm going up there, and the preacher says, what do you want? And for some reason, I'm in tears. And I threw my hands up, and I said, I just want to be saved. You know, and I was baptized, and tears are flowing. And that day, my heart changed. It was like, I can't explain it, but I started loving everybody. I even started going back to the neighborhoods where I sold drugs at, and the people I sold drugs to, I'm like, come and go to church with me. They thought I was crazy at first, but they started coming to church with me. Now, here's the key. God had transformed me, but even transformation are in phases. Because even though, like the Bible says, you know, that all things are passed away, and behold, all things become new, but they don't become new overnight. Everything's in stages. Transformation is in stages. So as I'm out there, but still, I'm still back in the same environment, abusiveness. So I'm battling with abusiveness and trying to please the Lord at the same time. So that's kind of hard. So I couldn't take it anymore. So I said, man, forget this. Why would the Lord allow someone to still abuse me? And I'm his son. You know, how could he allow this stuff to happen to me? So I said, forget it. I left the church. I left everyone, went back to the familiar, went back to drinking, smoking, getting my pack of Newports, doing those things. But here's the thing. The pastor of that church, out of 3,000 members, he tells the people, find this young man because the Lord's chosen him. I'm like, wow. And I'm out there drinking, and a friend of mine, his name is Abraham, and he calls. I'm out in the hood. Somebody said, yo, Terry. No, they said, Brown, you got a phone call. I'm like, what? Who is it? It sounds like the police. I'm like, what? So I get on there, like, hey, man, what's going on? I'm like, how did you find me? He was like, yo, the pastor wants to see you. He said, the Lord has a message for you. So, you know.
And that message, what happened after the phone call, when you made the phone call?
Fear. Because it's amazing, like when God gives a message to someone, because we hear so much like God gonna get you. So I was afraid. I'm like, oh man, he wants to see me. I know it. I'm over. It's over for me now. I'm done. Oh hell, here I come. Fire and brimstone. So I went, found the pastor, and I saw him, and I said, Bishop Bonner, am I cursed? Because all my life I've been hearing you're cursed. He said, no, son. He said, the Lord favors you.
Well, that's an awesome, testimony as to how things get started, and it all starts somewhere, and transformation, I believe and know that it happens at many points in our lives. And there are key points in our lives that we definitely remember as being pivotal points of transformation. And it sounds like that was one for you. So when we come back, we're going to continue our talk with Pastor Terry Wells on his transformation and how that brought us up to the present day.
Whatever your marketing problems, New Vision Media has the solutions. Our creative and experienced staff will develop a strategy to help your team reach their sales or marketing goals. New Vision Media's services include branding, graphic design, website management, social media marketing, photography, and video production. Let New Vision Media help create a new vision for your company.
Welcome back to Transformed. I'm Neftali, and we're here again with Pastor Terry Wells. And in the last segment, we spoke about the beginning transformation.
Yes.
And your background and your growing up and the things that you experienced as a young man.
Yes.
And going through the judicial system and just coming up and experiencing things through having certain people in your life that took you down different routes. And all those things we know, especially when we find the Lord, that they're to be used.
Yes.
And their experiences. But when we're going through them, we definitely don't understand them. And as you were going through them, what were some of the things that had you moving forward every day? Even though you were going through these different challenges and experiences, something was still pushing you to let you know that there was a transformation coming or some sort of way. What kept you from not giving up? And
it's amazing that they call it your inner, you have that inner strength. But what was a trip was a lot of people in the hood was telling me, you don't belong here. That trip, like, why you out here? Even the devil knows and recognizes God's people, and they can see ever ran into somebody and say, we see this, it's an aura about you.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's something about you. But I just want to reverse a little bit, to stay on to go back to the upbringing, because it's something I didn't tell you. How I didn't listen, even though he told me about being chosen. It seemed like I couldn't accept that. So still going back out to doing those things I shouldn't be doing. One day, broad daylight, just like today. Well, it's kind of rain outside, but broad daylight. Some friends of mine had an altercation with a guy over some rims. My friend got beat up earlier, baseball bat, blood is flowing everywhere. Go to the hospital, come back that same day, we get our friends together. Oh yeah, because this is why I tell people, they say, oh yeah, if my boy's in trouble, I got you, I'll ride or die with you. Don't even listen don't listen to none of that. It's all a lie. How do I know? Because it happened to me. Oh, let's go. We're going back. We're going to go get these guys. Not knowing, because that's the thing. You never know what's going to happen when you get there. We get out the car. My friend hits him in the head with a tire iron. My other guy, they call him crazy. He unloads, shoots the guy, point blank. Guy's dead. South Carolina, they have a law called the hands of one, the hands of all. So you know what they're charging me now with? Murder. I was one of those guys that murder was the case that they gave me. And so I'm ending up, I don't care what they tell you, I'm not a snitch. Snitches get stitches and all that. I'm going to tell you, when your back is against the wall and you're faced with life for something you didn't do, but I could have made the choice. And that's the thing with us as young people. You have to be renewed. It said transformed by the renewing of your mind. So I get in court and I'm like, they said, Mr. Wells, can you tell the jury for us who hit the victim? I'm pointing them out. Mr. Wells, can you tell the jury for us who shot the victim? Pointing them out. So my co-defendants received 34 and 32 years in prison. But just because you tell on your friends, I call it society and the judicial system will still make an example out of you. They sentenced me to 10 years in prison. But here we go. Remember, when God chooses you, he never changes his mind. You know, when David, when I make my bed in hell, I'm there. I put myself there to an extent. So God starts giving me favor with the prison guards. Those same guards bring, give me food to eat, those type things. But I went through a lot of stuff in prison, being people throwing feces on me. I used to have to clean up people's blood off the wall. I was working at a psychiatric hospital. But God, in return, I remember, just like a place like this, in a cell, nasty cell. And I made an altar to the Lord. I took a chair and put a sheet over it. And I said, Lord, I know I've done wrong. I'm sorry. Whatever you want to use me for, you can use me for whatever. But I promise you, I really mean it. If you get me out of this, I'll go spread the gospel, whatever you want me to do all over the world. They gave me 10 years. And 1 year later, he brings me out of prison. And the same people who were the prosecutors, they were the same people who started flying me across the country. I started working with law enforcement agencies because now the Lord has transformed me totally. Because not only did he transformed my mind, he transformed my heart. And my heart was like sold out to him. I love him. I'll die for him. You know?
So tell me about those instances, because we can, as you said in the beginning, if we can get a little real.
Yeah.
Get very real. We can chop it up. This is where I want to hit home with a lot of people, including myself. We all say we've been transformed.
Yeah.
There was a before and there is an after.
Right.
And then after continues on.
Right.
The more we grow, the more we know the Lord, the more we allow for him to continue and just affect our life.
Right.
But there's that point, there's that pivotal point, and it turns out to be point or up and down that a lot of people go through. And I'm pretty sure you might have went through it, but I want to hear how you went through it, that I've gone through. When we ask the Lord to do something for us, we specifically pray to him and we say, Lord, please help me out, and this is what I'm going to do for you. You make that deal.
That oath, yeah.
You make that deal, you say, you make that bargaining pact to say, I'm going to give everything to you.
Everything.
But there's a point when people say, it's too good to be true that I can't have all these things that are happening to me.
Right.
Now what do I do? What did Terry Wells do? How did that really affect? How did that really transform your thinking and your heart to really accept that, wow, this is what God's doing for me, and I have to give back to him and keep that pact that you asked for?
You know, bro, to be honest, to have God's favor, I felt very unworthy. So with the favor that I had, it wasn't for me. I felt it was always for somebody else. So the favor, I mean, he would start bringing me stuff, but say like you're my brother, I'll try to find out what is it that you do, and where everybody else had to go through a lot of red tape, I take you straight to the source, because it was revealed to me my favor wasn't for me anyway. My favor is for my brother and my sister, to help them. So I come to realize it's never about my life. It's about always impacting somebody else's life. So the ups and downs, I still go through them. Wondering, are you going to come through for me? Are you still there? You know, the doubts. You know, just being for real. You know, where are you? Care if not that I perish. And I'm back in this boat again.
Yes.
And it gets you to that point where you're the only one. Remember, the same God. He always remember, I'm the same God then that brought you out of prison. I'm the same God now. But sometimes he can bless you so much. Sometimes you can be blessed so much that you can forget that he's the same God. That when you come up against situations, it's like you have these doubts. And he has to remind you. Like, he reminds me like, yo, I was on the side of my bed one day, right? Because we do sometimes do things religiously. Where I prayed, my prayer life was like, you know, you down and dirty in the prayer. But those blessings and favor come, you kind of like get kind of lax until the storms come again. And then you get back. But I remember my back was against the wall. And I was praying religiously because in doubt. And the Lord spoke to me. He said, Terry, who am I? And I said, what do you mean? You're God. He said, no. He said, who am I? And he had to remind me of who he was, because sometimes I can start looking so much at the storms and the people and seem like what they can do to you. But he said, he had to remind me, when they come against you like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. But that's what being transformed is all about, in steps. Losing your faith. Sometimes to doubt God is to prove God. You know, because if I never doubted him, it can never give him the opportunity to prove himself. I say, which one's greater? Is it trust or faith? Actually, it's trust. Because if I have faith in you, it's believing, hoping that you're going to come through. But if I trust you, I know you're going to come through.
Thank you, Terry. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation about trusting. The word is trust, trusting that transformation. So please join us. We'll see you when we come back.
Whatever your marketing problems, New Vision Media has the solutions. Our creative and experienced staff will develop a strategy to help your team reach their sales or marketing goals. New Vision Media's services include branding, graphic design, website management, social media marketing, photography, and video production. Let New Vision Media help create a new vision for your company.
So welcome back to Transformed, and we're still here with Pastor Terry Wells. And right before the break, we were talking about trust. The
Yes.
word trust came up, which I think is very important. I know is very important in the transformation process, or accepting and just knowing the transformation process.
Yes.
When did you realize that there was a transformation for you to be served beyond what has happened for you?
Wow, you know what? This is when it really hit the fan. One of my guys, well, he's a good friend of mine. He's a big time drug dealer. He's done his time. He's done his time. But this, you know what he told me? This is when I knew the transformation had really, because sometimes, before I go to that part, sometimes it's not for you to see the transformation. It's for others to see the transformation. Because if I saw everything, and one of my spiritual mothers told me this, if I saw the things that somebody else saw, then if I really saw the transformation, all the things that God has done in my life and the different gifts, then I can become prideful. I can become boastful. I can become arrogant. But some things is good to be blinded to, even though I know, but yet it still gives me, I can be humble, you know? So this is when it really hit me. When my guy told me, he was like, yo, Terry, you got to keep it real for us. He said, no matter what, who you are now, you stay being that person, because we need somebody to speak on our behalf. I'm like, for real? So that's when when you can really impact somebody else's life, to where it's, you know, because I'm just gun-ho. I'm just trying to reach any and everybody. Mm-hmm. But when he said that, I really went all the way in. And just to say this too, I remember when I was in prison, remember the same prison guard. Now, God has now given me favor in the police department. Mm. Now I can remember the same prison guard. He said, I said, yo, Glove, what do you want to do in life? He said, man, I want to be a police officer. I want to be on the road. I said, well, check this out. A good friend of mine, he works at Lexington County Police Department. I said, I can get you a job there. He was like, get out of here. I said, but I would never forget. I remembered all the things you did for me. Had the interview set up for him. He's now deputy sheriff there. But back to being transformation, like I said, a lot of times it's not for us to see but know at the same time. I know I have different gifts. One of the gifts that I know I have that people don't really talk a lot about is the gift of encouragement. The gift of encouragement, nobody really talks about. I don't care how many other gifts you might have. Without somebody encouraging you with the gift that you have, it's kind of hard to move forward. That's why I'm glad that others that came along encouraged me, like, yo, man, you can do this. I believe in you. When it looked like all else was going to fail. Because God will always send people to help you, and it help and also God will connect you with people, just like what you do. I can't do what you do, but he can connect me with you, and you can see the transformation, and you can say, man, something special. I see this on you. Really? And the more I start getting more, my self-esteem is getting bigger. Now I can talk to people with self-esteem. But the trust of transformation, being able to really trust God, that's the thing. We're not talking about faith here. We're talking about trust. Because I've grown to a level where I trust him, where I know he's going to come through for me. And he resides in me. So not only do I have trust him, but I have to trust myself. My self-esteem has to be regardless of whoever's with me, whoever doesn't believe in my dream, doesn't believe in my goals, doesn't believe in, whatever admirations I want to do in life. It doesn't matter about them anymore. Their opinion doesn't count. It's about, is my self-esteem well over people's opinions? Where I've graduated over people's opinions and what they feel about me, what they think about. What all matters is trusting God and trusting the transformation that if he could change a drug dealer, a prison guy who going to prison from being successful, author, playwright, somebody giving them a hospital building for, to do urban ministry in the community. If he can do all that, then what more can he do? With the trust of transformation. See, it doesn't matter who's with me. I don't really care. You ever notice, when you come into this room, I'm with you, you light up the whole room. You can change the whole atmosphere around you. Because it's something special that God has chosen you for the transformation that you have. He transformed you not just to transform you, he transformed you so that you can change the people's.
Whatever your marketing problems, New Vision Media has the solutions. Our creative and experienced staff will develop a strategy to help your team reach their sales or marketing goals. New Vision Media's services include branding, graphic design, website management, social media marketing, photography, and video production. Let New Vision Media help create a new vision for your company.
Hi, we're back on Transformed, and we're here with Pastor Terry Wells. So, Pastor, bring us up to the transformation of today. What is happening in the life of Pastor Terry Wells today?
Well, I stated to you before, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm married now, with 4 wonderful children. And that's that's a transformation within itself. Who could ever think? Me? Be married? Throw your hands up. Right. So the Lord uprooted us, my family. We came to New Jersey. Wasn't all that good when I first got to New Jersey, but favor still ran. Now I've been doing urban evangelism ministry for young people for 15 years. I was just recently, 3 years ago, I was given a building owned by the hospital. It's 44,000 square feet. The Lord gave me the vision for it. We'll do urban ministry there, but also we'll have 24-hour daycare. We'll hire seniors to watch the kids. We'll have vocational training where we actually get young people business licenses so they own their own businesses. Law firms will be there. You name it, cosmetology, production studios will be there. We will be producing anything you name it. Church is going to be there, everything in one location. But right now we have in 4 weeks, we've grown in the parking lot itself. We have Brother Jim, who comes down from Fountain of Life, and his lovely wife, Jan, and some others who help us with this endeavor. But we grew from like maybe 20 kids in the parking lot, but what they're doing and how they've partnered with My Brother's Keepers, we've grown to 175 kids, young people. And while we're out there praying, people are stopping on the streets saying, when are you going to have services, and the miracles that are taking place. So when God is concerned about his people, this is what he's doing right now. He's raising up individuals, transforming individuals like me, like you, who he knows he can trust with the transformation to use it for his glory. So I'm excited. He's sending so many of the right people. My prayers, Lord, you know, like back in the day, I was getting so many of the fake friends, but now my prayer is, Lord, send me the right people, the faithful people, people you are transforming that can transform this ministry, to transform young people's lives, to help them.
And where can these transformations be sent to? Tell me about My Brother's Keeper and how can they get connected with My Brother's Keeper?
My Brother's Keepers is located at 675 Prospect Street in Trenton, New Jersey. You can go to our website at www.mybrotherskeepersoutreach.com. And also, if you want to see any visualizing of what we're doing in the community, Facebook me at Facebook on Terry Wells, and you can check us out. And you can call 609-610-5955. If you'd like to make a donation or contribution, you can send all monetary donations to 56 Mechanics Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey, 08638. If you'd like to donate some sheetrock, some building supplies, please get in touch with us. We can use whatever you can for the kingdom so God can transform these young people's lives.
Is there anything happening in the immediate future that folks can get connected with? Any events or anything coming up?
Yo, right now, we doing Kids Fest, Brother Jim's family, every Saturday in the parking lot at 4. We've just been approved to have our services on Sunday from like 10 to 12 on Sunday, starting the 16th of October in Prospect Village Community Center. So if you're a person that actually, God is looking for people who never got opportunities, who wants to transform their lives as well. So I'm looking, if you're a person that you feel like you never got a chance before, then MBK is for you. If you feel like you're broken, you want to be fixed, MBK is the place for you. You're looking for a place where people who really want to love you just for who you are, not for what you can bring to the table, but for who you are, and wants to transform your life, impact your life, then MBK is the place for you.
Sounds like MBK is the place for you, me, Pastor Terry Wells.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, God bless you and everyone that is working with you.
Yes.
It sounds like everybody that's just coming and getting connected will be transformed.
Amen.
So thank you very much for joining us on Transformed. I'm Neftali Nichols.
Thank you so much.